members from Malacca, Malaysia is here. And you can see that, well, actually, Malaysia family members are everywhere. So they're here, and all of them. We have a full house here today, and obviously that's because we're all very happy to be here to review the Dharma. And as always, I think today is also a very special day, because today is the time when our families from, I think, 20-some countries, they're here in Hualien in the certification retreat, and they are learning and toward their final step to another new beginning, another new milestone, and they will be certified today by our master. So shortly, I think in about 2 hours, master will head to Jing Hall, and this will be a very special day, almost like the very important birthday for our Dharma wisdom life. So, but before that, we still have time, and that's why we're going to review the Wondrous Lotus Sutra. So now let us begin. So last week, we talked about, we have been in chapter 20, and if you remember, Master restarted this chapter 20 after 27 days of absence, and that was due to the health condition and the bodily conditions. But it really picked up really quickly since the first day where Master began again on chapter 20. It has been almost 10 days already. So if you miss one day, you can imagine it was just like, yesterday that Master restarted, but right away, in a snap of time, it's 10 days. And if you miss one, it's so easy to miss the second one, the third one. So it's always very important to keep updated. And it's always very important to have a group together to study and review together. So that's what we're doing every week. Very quickly, review from last week, what we talked about. Last week, we had the sharing from Master De Huang on her experience to the US and UN. But with regards to the Lotus Sutra on chapter 20, last week we talked about the very fundamentals, the 3 ages of Buddhism. Master spent a long time talking about what are the 3 ages of Buddhism, what are they, how are they formed, and what can we do about it. That's what we talked about last week. So the 3 ages of Buddhism are the 3 ages, which is the age of Right Dharma, the age of Semblance Dharma, and the age of Degenerate Dharma. These are the 3 periods, and last week we spent some time, and also Master spent very, very many days talking about what each of these ages mean and represent. How do we know that this is what age? And we also talk about very important principle, that it isn't just, this is the age of technology or whatever. No, I think this age of Buddhism, it's actually reflective of ourselves, right? For example, Master talks about the age of Right Dharma. What does that mean? It means that in the age of Right Dharma, 3 components will be present. This is probably, I think, the most important key. The most important key that Master talked about is that 3 components are Buddha's teachings. The teachings have to be put in practice, and the convergence of practice and principles. These are the 3 things, and in Chinese, as it's written on the bottom, it's 教, 行, 正. And that's the age of Right Dharma. That means somebody is teaching the Dharma or the teachings. The Buddha's teaching, whether it's coming from Buddha himself or the other teachers of Dharma, the teachings are passing on. That's the first thing. 行 or practice. Somebody must put this teaching into practice. And not just that, but you need to converge, put together the practice and principles, and then realize from that point on. So if that's the age of Right Dharma, Master said, the age of Semblance Dharma means that you have the teachings, you have the practice, but there is no convergence of practice and principles. You would just be doing it because you are taught to do it. We would just be here because you are forced to come here, but you don't know why, you don't know the principles, and that is called the age of Semblance Dharma. The age of End Dharma is when there is teaching, someone is still teaching, but there's no one practicing it. So as you lose more, as you lose one of these components, you go into the 3 different ages, okay? And it's not about the whole world, it's about yourself. For example, we are doing distribution, and then you are bowing 90 degrees. You're doing this because somebody else told you to do it. Then that means you yourself are in the age of semblance. You don't know why, you're just following it. But there is a chance that if it goes on further, you will not even do it anymore because you feel, why am I doing this? I'm just going to drop it all together. But there is also a chance where you could learn and understand why you do it, and then you converge the practice and principles. So whether you are going from ending to semblance to right, or you're going from right to semblance to ending, it's totally up to us. There isn't a way that says after 1,000 years, it must be this age. No, and that's what Master is trying to do, is to reverse it. So Master also talks about how these 3 ages are formed. And I think Master is, first of all, Buddhism has always been very scientific. It was built on logic. It has to be very, very logically sound. So Master was very, very logical in explaining why that you have these degeneration. You have these degenerating Dharma periods. Why? Because Master said the first generation of disciples, they received the teachings directly from the Buddha. But after the Buddha passed away, the second generation disciples still received the teaching from the first generation, obviously, because the Buddha is no longer there. So they had to receive the teaching from the first generation. And the second generation are still very, very kind, and they're very good in following orders. But they would be something different. Something will be different. Perhaps we missed telling them something. It would be like, my father teach me something, and I teach the same thing to my child, except maybe I didn't tell the whole thing. Maybe I forgot about something, or maybe I changed something that I didn't always understand, and I changed something that I didn't always like. So then my children get something different. So something will be different. Even if they practice it sincerely, the second generation teaching and the third and the fourth will be slightly different. And that's how this degeneration continues. But there is something that we can do. So the third thing is, what are we going to do about it? Chapter 20, as Master said, repeated today again, it's about what we can do. All the previous chapters have been talking about stories and analogies and things like that, telling you how important the one truthful Dharma is. But chapter 20 goes into, okay, let me show you what we can do about it. And that's the story of the Never-Slighting Bodhisattva. So Master said, as the age of degenerated Dharma is nearing, everything is changing. The Dharma, the practice, and the sangha, everything is changing. However, at this time, there is a Bodhisattva whose name is Never-Slighting. During this time of crisis for Dharma, crisis for Buddhism, he tried to reintroduce Buddha Dharma to the world. Okay, so this is what we talked about last week. We talked about all these, right? The settings, the time, and the world, the situations, and the conditions is such. So what is he going to do, and how is he going to do it, and why is going to be the next topic. So the review for this week is, what did he actually do and why? Okay, this is what we're going to talk about today. And next week, hopefully, we should be talking about how he does it. So it's very important to not just do something, but you need to know why. And now you know why, you need to know how. So it's very, very scientific, and Master is doing this slowly to get us to understand why, because sometimes it's very difficult. Master will just say, do it, and then we will be like, yes, Master, we'll do it. But there are many questions and doubts that we don't get answered, and then we just do it. Our children, our friends that are not in Tzu Chi will ask us, why do you do this? And then you'll be like, because Master told me to. Now, that's not a good enough answer, because you can't just reply that to someone who doesn't know, well, who is Master? They don't know who Master is, and what are you going to do about it? So it's important to see what he did and understand why he did it. Okay, so let's first begin with what did he actually do. So this is the part where we probably heard about a lot of times. In fact, for the past 10 days, when Master talks about the Lotus Sutra, chapter 20, it mostly is about all this. So I'm just going to recite this very quickly. Now, these are all coming from the sutra text itself directly, okay? So what did he actually do? So whenever the Never-Slighting Bodhisattva saw any monk, nun, or layman or laywoman, okay, anyone, okay, he would praise and pay homage to them, prostrate to them, saying, why did he do that? Saying, I deeply respect you. I dare not belittle you. Now, why did he do that? Because he said, all of you practice the Bodhisattva path and will become Buddhas, okay? This is what the Never-Slighting Bodhisattva did, okay? And he explained this to everybody, because all of you practice the Bodhisattva path and will become Buddhas, okay? Not just that. Furthermore, this monk, or the Never-Slighting Bodhisattva, did not just concentrate on reciting the sutras, okay? This was all written in the Lotus Sutra, okay? This monk did not just concentrate. This is trying to branch off to tell you that he didn't just do that. He did something else. Remember, reintroduce Buddhism, okay? That's what Master said. In this age of crisis, someone came up with a different way to reintroduce Buddhism to the community, to the world. So he didn't just do the original way, which is reciting the sutras. But instead, he prostrated, he paid homage such that even when he saw the fourfold assembly, you know, what we talked about, the monks and the nuns and the laymen, laywomen, even if he saw them from far away, he would run up to them, praise them, and prostrate and bow to them, saying, I dare not belittle you because you will all become Buddhas. Okay, so it's not just talking about when I see you face to face. If I see you from far away, I don't pretend that I don't see you. Look at how many people do that, right? I pretend I didn't see you. And then when you come close, I'll be like, oh, hey, hello. That's what we do. Instead, he doesn't do that. He see you from far away, and many people pretended they don't see him. So he would go out to them and say, oh, you are going to become Buddhas, right? So this is what he did. Not just that, okay? Not just from close by and from far away, not just that, but he said that he dare not belittle anyone and predicts that everybody will become Buddhas. However, the people that he said, the Bodhisattva said this to, the people he said this to refuse to accept this, right? So they said, hey, he can say whatever he wants, and he predicts that we shall become Buddhas, but who gives him the right? Who gives him the right to tell me that I will become the Buddhas? It should be the Buddha himself. You know, it's almost like, you know, if somebody were to certify you as a commissioner and say, oh, you're going to be commissioner soon. You're going to be commissioner soon. You're going to be a wonderful commissioner. I'm like, no, I don't need this from you. If Master said it, I will agree and I will say thank you. But you said it, I don't care for your opinion, right? So people have very, very obvious logical responses. They don't care for this because they don't like to come from, you know, this person is like a madman, like a crazy person, right? You know, don't say these crazy things. I don't need this, right? So all these things, right? He did this from close by. He did this from afar, and people were, you know, they were scolding him. They were doing all these things. This went on for many years, and this Bodhisattva was always reviled. You know, people just blasted him, right? You're crazy. You don't know what you're doing. But he never got angry and always said, you will become a Buddha. Okay, this is what he did. I'm still only talking about what he did. Okay, even amid all these problems, that still happens. Okay, so whenever he spoke those words, people would assail him with sticks. You know, they would attack him, you know, throw stones and attack him and hit him with sticks, right? And he would not just stop. And he didn't stay there and let them hit them either, okay? Remember, if you're in danger, please run, okay? So this goes true with all volunteers. You're like, no, I need to stay here, you know? And Master talks about another disciple where, you know, he made a vow to the Buddha, right? He said, well, if you hit me, what are you going to do? He said, well, at least he didn't, you know, knife me, you know, kill me with a knife. Well, let's not do that, okay? Let's not do that. We're not there yet. So if somebody is going to hit you, please run. Okay. So that's what he did, right? Bodhisattva, the Never-Slighting Bodhisattva, he said, if there are other people that would try to attack him or hit him or throw things at him, he would fled from them and still go from afar, from a distance. I dare not belittle you. You will all become Buddhas. Okay, so this is what he did. And I think it's very important to know what he did first. Just like what it's very important to know when is the period that this person came out and why. So we talked about the 3 periods. And this is a time when we need someone to reintroduce Buddhism to the group of sangha or the group of community who have lost the meaning and beginning to lose ways and be confused. Okay, so that's what he did. So let's talk about why. Why did he do all of that? Now, yes, there is the very standard answer that's called, you will all become Buddhas and therefore I do this, right? That's the very standard answer, and that was written in the sutra. However, Master, as always, she gave us so many different reasons why he did all this. Now, if you paid attention, every day there's a different reason why he did that. And I looked into it and I'm like, whoa, Master said he did this because of this. And then the next day it will be like, oh, he did it because of the other reason. Every day there's one new reason, and they're all very similar. So yesterday we were in a review, right? We're reviewing Dharma Master Tzu Chi, and there was a story about the word miao, wondrous, in the sutra, right? He was expounding the sutra, and the beginning had to explain the title. Just the word wonder, wondrous, the word, he explained for 90 days. And I can totally see why that's possible. Because just explaining why Never-Slighting Bodhisattva did all this, Master had all these different ways and explained. Let me show you just a few that I discovered. So on the 16th of October, this is what Master said. So to the Bodhisattvas, right, the entire world is home. Everyone is family. I think this is very important. And I think that this is always Master's way of teaching us, right? That this whole world, we're family. There's no just blood relatives. We are all relatives. We're all families, right? So Master said, those that are older are like our parents, and those that are younger are like our brothers and sisters. Okay, so that's a very general statement, right? So Master said, with such mindset and respectfulness to our family, this is what we need to do to cultivate our minds. So we must be very respectful to everyone, just like how we are loving and respectful to our biological parents and relatives. Master said this, and then she said, Never-Slighting Bodhisattva never treated anyone with respect. If we understand this part, the previous part that I talked about, that everyone is family, then his actions would be very logical. So from this perspective, Master is saying that we should treat everyone as family. And since everyone is our family, then we should not treat anyone with disrespect. You should respect them all, just like you respect your family members, your elders, your family, your brothers, your siblings, and everyone. So we don't slight anyone, we don't dislike anyone, we treat everyone as family. So Master said, if we understand this, everyone is family, then why he do this will be very logical. That was on the 16th. But the very next day, there's a different explanation. So Master says, this never-slighting Bodhisattva, he looks upon all, everyone with compassion. Even to this group of people who scolded and belittled him, he still accepts all those actions completely and wholeheartedly because of this compassion, this pity, takes pity, knowing that they actually don't mean bad things, but they just don't know better, okay? So such compassion for all, even if they hit him with sticks or throw stones and bricks, he still thinks highly of them because they're walking the Bodhisattva path. Now, this is very, very similar to the sutra, right? I do not dare to belittle you because you're all walking on the Bodhisattva path and you will all become Buddhas. So Master explaining how are these people who are hitting them with sticks, throwing stones and bricks, how are these people actually walking the Bodhisattva path? And if that's Bodhisattva path, maybe we should start practicing throwing stones and hitting people with sticks. How is it actually walking a Bodhisattva path? Master says, without such negative actions, okay, so is in the perspective of the Never-Slighting Bodhisattva, Okay, so in his mind, this was not part of the sutra, right? Master is trying to explain logically in his mind, in Never-Slighting Bodhisattva's mind. It must be going through. How is that these people that are throwing stones and hitting with sticks, how are these people walking the Bodhisattva path? Because he's thinking, without such negative actions and words to test my resolve, to grind my pride, I would not know where my cultivation lies. Okay, so I think this is very important to know that always turning the negatives to the positives, even if they're doing something bad to you, yes, that's a way to test my resolve, to making sure that, am I ready to stand this test, or am I ready to fail? Okay, so this is very important. So the very next day on the 18th, following the same idea, but different, always going back to the teaching of Confucius. So Confucius once said, in a group of three, there will always be a teacher among the three of us. So the three people is me, and then one person and the other, right? Three people. So one of this person, that's not me, one such person is a teacher that will teach me what is right, what is wrong, and what I need to do. Okay, there's one of the person, like a friend of benevolence, okay, a good influence, a good teacher will teach me what is right, what is wrong, and what I need to do. And there's a third person, right? Me, a friend of benevolence, and then the third person. This one not only does not teach me anything, but they will verbally abuse me. They will say things, they will do things that are negative to me. However, the most important thing is I must learn from both. I must learn from the one who teaches me and be respectful and grateful for the teachings, right? Another show the vile forms and actions and to test my resolves. I must also be respectful and at the same time be firm in my convictions. This person is also my teacher. So going from this person is here to test my resolve as a negative hindrance to this person is my teacher, and therefore you must always be respectful. You're bowing to your teacher. You're bowing to your parents. That all makes sense. All these different ways is to tell the same thing, is to make this action of Never-Slighting Bodhisattva make sense, make it logical. All these thinking probably happen inside the Bodhisattva's head, but Master had to explain this so that we can understand why this person is not weird. Master once said that it's not this Bodhisattva that's weird, it's people that are weird, okay? They're deviated, okay? So on the next day, the 19th, so it's 4th straight day, right? 16, 17, 18, 19, to get us to understand why he did all of that through 4 days. And there's even more beyond that. Master kept on talking about why he did this. Never-Slighting Bodhisattva is here to remind us that we must not give up so easily. Oh, he's doing this because it's resolve, it's conviction, that we must remain respectful of each other. This attitude, and now it's going back into the cultivation itself. Why he did all this is to persevere, right? This attitude is the core of cultivation. Otherwise, your cultivation would not be substantial. It would just be words. It would just be talking. But indeed, the true substance of the cultivation itself is the hardship that you endure and the challenges you overcome. That's the true cultivation, not the words, not the slogans, not the very pretty verses that we recite, but it's the actual path that we walk on, the actual hindrance that we overcome. That's the actual substance of the cultivation. So that is why Never-Slighting Bodhisattva persisted. He remained respectful of everyone, even if he was belittled or scolded. He was still at ease in his mind, never wavering, using every opportunity to cultivate. So this is different now. It's not just a teacher to them, but he's treating this as a way to cultivate. So once again, it's all very similar perspectives, but not exactly the same. On the very same day, Master continued. Bodhisattvas are always prepared. Whether the task is simple or difficult, whether there is positive affinity or negative, Bodhisattvas are prepared to give of themselves. They are prepared to give. They're prepared to help, and they're prepared to give of themselves to the people. Whether it's simple or difficult, whether it's positive or negative. So they don't get to choose. They don't get to choose which one is better or easier, so I'm going to do this. No, they don't pick and choose. They don't pick the place where there's more ripened condition. They don't. Whenever there's people that need this Dharma, they're going to do this. So you don't pick, oh, this group of people, they accept me better, so I'm going to do this. That group of people will scold me and belittle me, so I'm going to run away from them. No. And so Master going from a different perspective. This is his mission. His mission is to try to pass on this Dharma to all these people. And therefore, he didn't pick and choose the people. He just got this back crowd of people. So that's his homework. So they just go, Bodhisattva go because they are needed. And I think there are more reasons why Bodhisattva, Never-Slighting Bodhisattva did all this. I only pick out a few that Master gave us. And really while I was preparing all this, I was thinking that it was almost like in the Sutra of Infinite Meanings that you have so many different ways, right? The Dharma doors, infinite Dharma doors, they're appearing right in front of us. Just one action. He always says that you're all, I will never belittle you and I will never look light upon you because you'll all become Buddha. Just one such sentence, one such phrase, and there are infinite Dharma doors that Master is opening for us. And why is that? If you imagine, just like when we're trying to tell people to become vegetarians, you would tell them that this is good for your health. Sometimes people accept, sometimes people don't, right? And then what would you tell them? You would tell them it saves the world, right? It's environmental. It's good for our resources. And it's good to not kill lives. They also have feelings. And it's, good for all these various different reasons. And the very same thing, action. There's only one action, but there's so many reasons why beyond that. And that's why Master is trying to let us know that this is the age of right Dharma. You need to do, and you need to know why. Because if you don't know why you do certain things, you will not be able to pass on this Dharma. You will only pass on the form, but you don't know why you do this. Then you cannot pass the true teaching. And that's how Master is trying to revert the age of degenerate Dharma back into age of right Dharma. So as one of the person asked the question, what is this analogy with this zongzi, okay, or the dumpling wrap or whatever the English is? Okay, so every reason that we talked about why Never-Slighting Bodhisattva did what he did, you can imagine that to be a zongzi. Okay, every reason, every Dharma door is represented by a zongzi. However you explain it, whether you're a vegetarian because it's good for your health, whether it's good for the earth, it's good for compassion, it's good for the animals, it's for equal, lives, all sentient beings are equal, there's a, cycle of whatever, each one of the reasons is represented by a. But if you trace that wrapping and that the wrapping itself, if you follow the wraps and you follow the string upwards, you're going to find that they all converge onto the same teaching. And that's our Dharma lineage. That's the core. When you do all of these things and it will converge onto that one part, then you know that you are not far away from the Dharma lineage. However, if you are only following through with the actions, then you only have the zongzi, and you have lost, and you are not tied together with all the other zongzi, and you would just be like, my way is the only way. We're only doing vegetarian because it's good for your health. Then you will lose the opportunity to share all these other different reasons to other people who will not take health as the main reason because they're nutritionists and they've been studying this for 10 years, and they'll tell you all the reasons why that doesn't make sense. So that's why for all sentient beings, we need infinite Dharma to be able to convey, to pass on the Dharma. So very importantly, that's the reason why. And I think Master continue even today explaining all these actions. And I think this chapter is, past the midway point. It's almost coming to an end. So as Master said, we are entering into this door where it's no longer just about stories. It's about doing. It's about how you do it. It's about why you do it, what do you do, why you do it, and how you do it, and what you should think about. as ourselves. And next week, hopefully, we'll get in more deeper into that. So thank you. That's the sharing for today. And we're going to open up to the centers. I think today is very special. We're going to have different centers with Jing Si aphorism, and Huang Sifu will hopefully give us some feedback. Thank you. Thank you.
感恩 Brother Joe for such wonderful sharing as usual. Warmest welcome all newly certified commissioners. Okay, from afar we can't really distinguish really who. Okay, but then it's just like suddenly I recall there's this chapter about the 20,000 sun moonlight Buddhas. So all Tzu Chi volunteers, Lan Tian Bai Yun, welcome. We are very joyful for this special occasion. Yeah, indeed, like Brother Joe said, today is a special, quite meaningful day. We have this Jing Si aphorism. It arrived because of certain things that happens. But we are very glad that all the centers, very last minute, we asked them to share Jing Si that touched the heart. All the centers, I mean, the Shalom centers, they agreed, the focus to take turns. Okay, maybe I start off first. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm Xiao Qing from Sri Dhammasara. Very happy to see everyone. The Jing Si that I really love is the one, if everyone have my handphone contact, you will see under the, instead of pictures, I put it, the Jing Si 口说好话, speak kind words, have caring thoughts, and do kind deeds. A simple reminder for the self, it's like a pure practicing for me. Jing Si, I recall there was this story. Someone asked Dharma Master Ying Sun, they asked Grand Dharma Master Ying Sun, they said, Dharma Master, your disciple, Master Chen Yan, she provided very simple Dharma through Jing Si aphorism. Is that really still Dharma? It's a bit simple. So Grand Dharma Master very wisely replied, it's can be it long or short, but more importantly is whether this is helpful to another party. If these words can help the other party, it is good Dharma. So, okay, personally, I also very grateful that for the past few years, I learned from my sister-in-law, Hui Moy. She's also a commissioner in Johor. She started sharing Jing Si with me daily. Then this practice also learn and share with people, not only the friends, colleagues, even the Ganfu, some that we have done, contacted them once during one time off AIDS, but after so many years, we still keep in touch through this Jing Si in refugees. Quite often, the feedback that received is very heartfelt. Sometimes they will say, even the colleagues, our friends, they can't join Tzu Chi, but receiving the Jing Si, they are very grateful. It managed to somehow resolve that issue if they are maybe the teenage for that day, or even at office, they were about to have quarrel with another person, but when they read the Jing Si, it's like, or they will quickly feedback to me that I'm very grateful that today I received this aphorism. For refugee, in fact, we have, I recall this case where this mother, the first time we saw her, she was very down, and she was always full of a lot of worries. Then we asked her to reflect on it. Even though the first visit, we talked to her, and then we show her this Jing Si. It's in English. Some of the words they can't understand, but the kids, younger kids, could translate it. Then the next time we visited her, she told us, could see the transformation in her face. Then she said how the family bonding, they use Jing Si as family bonding. All the children will come together. Each of them will pick the box of Jing Si that we gave to them, and they share it. It was very joyous, and we could see the transformation. Another family that we shared the Jing Si, also refugee, even though it was very short visit, with refugee normally, because of the collaboration with UN, it's normally quite like 3 to 4 times visits only, short-term aid. But the transformation we could see, it's really wonderful. Very often that there was this mother who kept the Jing Si that they received. It was in a form of keychain. She wrapped it very nicely. It's like very treasured thing. Another family, they even put it together with there was this Indian lady. She put it with at her prayer side. So every time after she prayed to the God, the Hindu God, she will also recite Jing Si. The Muslim, they put it together with the Quran. So we could see how wonderful these teachings are, and how it is very helpful even for recruitment of bodhisattva. If they have no affinity, they don't have time to join the activities, but continuous sending of Jing Si. Over some time, we have built this good relationship. if we ask them one day, we also the heart will be open, and somehow one day they will join. It's very powerful. Okay, I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Now we pass it to the next center, Kepong side, Brother Edward. Ka'an, over to you, Brother Edward.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Brother Edward from Kepong, and my Jing is about this wasted day is worth less than a millisecond. 就是空过一天不如使用1秒. Actually, I didn't aware that I need to share at this point of time. So I only think of one of my scenario is during my working hours. I have a meeting at 4 p.m. but actually it was delayed until 5 o'clock. So during the periods, I try to hook up with something else so that I can slot in the time, so that I don't waste the time. Even it's a waiting period until 5 p.m. we start the meeting. So this is my sharing for this Jing Shi, so that meaning that we don't waste every second that we have in our life to do things. Thank you. Back to you, Sister Tzu Chi.
Good morning, all across the globe, brother and sister. My Jing Shi today, I just pick up the book, and this is the one. I read it to you all. It's never lose courage, never lose faith. Nothing in this world is impossible when you are determined. When I see this in the morning, when I was just having breakfast with my fellow Fa Ching here, this Jing Shi reminds me back then when I decided to start this Saturday Dharma at Cheras community here. So there was a lot of obstacles to getting to open here, because one of the obstacles is I'm the only English speaking volunteer. So it was difficult, but I didn't lose faith, because I also don't know how I get this inspiration, which I just now, as Brother Joe was saying, and this topic on Never-Slighting Bodhisattva. I remember actually I go to Kepong previously, and I was inspired by Brother Joe, our Brother She Hao, so selflessly teach us in English, because I do not understand Mandarin or Hokkien. So if I listen from Master, I actually don't really know what is going on. So it's through Brother Joe doing all this explanation in detail to us in English, that I felt Brother Joe is so selfless, and it sort of inspired me and become my role model, that during that time, a few of us, not just me, I believe Sister Tammy from Puchong, go back, and Sister Riani from Stapak, that time she's in Stapak, and I'm from Cheras, and we all determined to go back to our community. The reason why is, purpose is very simple, it's just to benefit the community. Because if I just want to benefit myself learning Dharma, I would just go to Kepong, you know. So with this thought, and I persevere, I go through a lot of obstacles, not easy that I want to open, I can open. I didn't give up, I keep asking despite being rejected many times. And so this Jing Shi, you say, nothing in this world is impossible when you are determined. I felt this was a very good Jing Shi to explain this morning. And through perseverance, now we have Cheras team has grown slowly, and we have a lot of regular Pusa coming to support this learning together. And we also have newcomers, and just like what Buddha is teaching, Master is teaching, and what is Dharma all about, that we need to spread the Dharma, pass on the Dharma, do not let the Dharma be stopped there. So this is one way of cultivating and doing my part. So thank you everyone, thank you. That's my sharing.
Good morning, all brothers and sisters around the world. Today my Jing sharing is anger is punishing oneself for the mistake of others. If you ask me, my inner feeling, actually I would choose anger, because why? Before I joined, my affinity to join Tzu Chi is actually my ex-colleague referred me to telling me that there's one class, a talk that you after you attend, your patient, you will gain more patient. So okay, the anger is punishing oneself for the mistake of others. I would like to share with you all that how true is this Jing Si. My personal experience in year 2001-5, because that time I have this injury, severe foot injury on this that medical term called plantar fasciitis. Okay, so that time I have this severe injury, right? Meaning from off and on my leg, I will have the moment I wake up in the morning, my feet will be having pain. Okay, so that time I do treatment to visit the doctor, orthopedic. So the doctor will say that you have to control your emotion, else you will suffer with the pain. Okay, so at that time I didn't quite understand why the doctor keep asking me to control my emotion. Okay, so until one day, I remember very clearly that my girl at that time, she was only 4 years old. So at that point of time, I haven't joined Tzu Chi yet, haven't really understand Master Cheng teaching yet. So the whole day, I remember I'm taking care of her, because from her 1 year old until 4 years old, she very stick to me. She's like the super glue one. Wherever I go, she will follow. Okay. So at that point of time, that day morning, I've been trying like tolerate with her from morning until at night. So suddenly at night, when she like up to that particular day, at night, I couldn't control my emotion. I straight away throw my anger. And the point of time when my anger arises, immediately I had the pain on my leg. So this is really true to proven that the anger is punishing our own self. And even if I tell my colleague, right, they will say that they read one article before. The article mentioned that when we body get angry, right, then it will quite harmful to the body. And I remember I read one article before. That's why when our human body we get happy, our body will release one kind of endorphin. That endorphin actually is one sort of a painkiller to our body. Okay, so Garden for listening. Now I shall pass on to another center for sharing.
Hello, good morning, Master, Hualien Dharma team, and brother and sister. Today I will let my representative from our Sri Petaling to share the Jing Si of Buddhism. This is a sister Feng Yi.
Hi, good morning everyone. Good morning. I'm Sister Feng Yi from Sri Petaling. Okay, the Jing Si aphorism I want to share today is this one. Can't see. Actually, long before I joined Tzu Chi, someone have already given me this Jing Si aphorism. It's my treasure. Even though it's in Chinese, I keep it by my side until now. Okay, the one I want to share today is this. 脾气嘴巴不好，心地再好也不算好人。If you have a bad temper and foul mouth, then no matter how good your heart is, you are not considered a good person. I joined Tzu Chi in year-end September 2006. Okay, by year-end, someone invited me to the year-end blessing. I was very glad, so I went there. and then they will distribute the Jingzi aphorism. I open it. When I reach home, I open it. Oh, I saw this. I feel very unhappy. Okay, I just roll it and hide in the corner. But I continue to doing Tzu Chi, especially recycling, and I enjoy it. 1 year passed. The next year I'm blessing. I hope I will get a better one. Okay, not this one. I didn't change at all. So on that day, I get the same Jingzi aphorism. It means I still had a bad temper and I still very rude. No matter how good I am, I'm not a good person. I'm very unhappy. I just roll it up and throw it in another corner. So I continue my doing recycling. I'm very happy. Then the third year end came. Will I get back the same Jingzi aphorism? Will I get back the same Jingzi aphorism? I was very anxious. Then I talked to myself. You have to admit it. You really have a very bad temper. You never see yourself. So you have to change. I told myself. So I started to change. I changed. I learned to speak better. I learned to be not so bad, speak politely, don't shout. So I try my best. And then that year, oh, I feel so happy. I didn't get the same one. I would like to share another Jingzi aphorism. I am a preschool teacher. You know, nowadays the children, they speak whatever they like. So I can't find it. In Chinese, it means 口说好话，好像土莲花，口说坏话，就是毒舌。So normally when my student say bad words, I will draw a picture of their face. Then I say, if you say good words, it's like flower coming out. Then I draw a lot of pretty flowers. And the children like it. Wow, how do you feel when you receive this flower? The children feel very happy. If you shout at your friends, you are rude, snake coming out. I draw all the snake. You know what my children will say? You, glee, you. You are hurting your friend. That's why snake coming out from your mouth. So the children learn from me. It really works in my working place. Okay, that's all I need to share today. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning, Master. Good morning, brother and sister. Yeah, sit down. Sure. Okay, Master has actually given us a profound Jingzi Yi. So it is words of wisdom to help us to deal with our daily situation. Okay, and today, even today, Xin Fa Xiang, Master was teaching us to walk forward and with one leg in front while letting go of the back leg. Okay, I'm referring back to the Jingzi aphorism now. The greatest success in life is stand up from failure. Now, this is one sharer. I need to action this because if you are on the failure, you need to stand up. Okay, you need to stand up and from the failure, and then after that you need to walk. When you stand up now, you need to walk and one step forward and lift the other feet up. In the same way, you are letting go of the yesterday and focus on today. And this is actually why I'm chosen this aphorism is because of do not forget the year, do not forget the thought, and do not forget the person. This aphorism was shared to the. There was one time the English group was conducting English language lessons to the refugees for the Myanmar, and so happened one of the Myanmar family was facing something happened where I think their 3-year-old daughter got drowned in the place which was because of the monsoon season. Yeah, a monsoon drain. She got drowned there, so they were going through some situation. So normally end of the lesson we will share our master's aphorism, and this is the one where we will sharing out the greatest success in life is to stand up from a failure. When we say this, we can see that there was what you call this, his heart has actually awakened, and he was like, yes, he needs to stand up and move forward, and because of this is he needs to move on with life, and that's all I can say. And this is the one where this aphorism has actually helped in our life situation. Okay, thank Kanan.
Brothers and sisters, I'm Brother Ng from Cheng. I would like to share this aphorism shared by Master. Heart brimming with love can transcend hatred and hostility. Lately, I have some challenges doing my Tzu Chi works, where I try to, do some Tzu Chi activities. Some brothers and sisters are trying using harsh words on me, you know. So I think it's good to me. Have I done something wrong or what? But so I recall it. I check my own self again, and I feel that maybe I have done something wrong. So I try not to hate that person, and my heart should be filled with love and forgive them, and we carry on doing our Tzu Chi works. Thanks, brothers and sisters.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Again, I have to grateful and I have a chance to practice my English and to share with you all. Actually, yeah, it's so wonderful that there's a lot of volunteers. We are always get wisdom from the master who give us a teaching and giving us such a very simple, very understanding, and can easily to practicing in our daily life. So I think Jing's aphorism is kind of like a Dharma medicine, 法药, and also it's kind of like a daily supplement of the wisdom that we actually everyone need to use it. Yeah. So okay, Brother Joe will show me. Have to see the computer so that can see clearly. But anyway, I think Jing's aphorism is everyone should, especially for our Tzu Chi volunteers, who must always receive the teaching from the Dharma and is easily absorbed and apply in our daily life. And the last but not least, because time is already past 8 o'clock, so I would just like to say we always heard Master say 甘愿做欢喜受。尽多少本分就得多少本事. So it's just like do everything with a willing heart and accept the result joyfully. The more effort you put it, the more skill you will gain. It seems like every time, every day, every week is the most exciting day for me. Saturday morning, which is I always full of joy to attend, to participate this Dharma sharing. Especially listen from Brother Joe and Yoping, Siping, they are sharing for the master teaching. So this is what I want to keep, diligent in practicing my English, so that one day I will be also take the responsibility and to give you all the sharing about our master Dharma teaching. So one day I will, have a brave and 勇敢 and take the job and to try to espouse the master Dharma one day, and without any obstacles. 口无辩爱的那个经验，我只想this is what I hope that. Okay, the last but not least, I hope everyone have a wonderful day, and we see next week. Thank you.
感恩黄师父，感恩 Brother Joe, 感恩 brothers and sisters for lots of heartfelt and wisdom sharing. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for your presence today. Hope that each of us will sustain the Dharma joy and take in another piece of Dharma Master and Hualien love to our life. Let us please make 3 bows to the Buddha and Dharma Master as we depart to apply these teachings in our daily life. Let us pay our respects to our teachers of life universal truth. Palms together. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. And a bow to our beloved Sifu, all the Sifus, Kan En for joining us today, for giving us lots of wisdom. Kan En. Kan En Pusa. Okay, see everyone next Saturday. Kan En. Okay. Great to see everyone. Yeah, we can see more clearly. Our brother Raymond and Clang and our Shalom team. Yeah. And I think other countries. Okay, Kan En, bye-bye. See you. Yeah, brother Raymond, you still owe us a talk, Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Kan.